Hello and welcome to Civic Media Live on YouTube and Facebook, and welcome to the Wednesday edition winner How Do You Go Inside the Republic. Well, I'm gonna go say we start late. Well, for those that always join us at 9 to the dot, we do apologize for the 15 minutes late, but I believe say we don't go live about 10 minutes ago just for the try for get everything up and running before we kick up the show. And I want to say welcome to everybody. If you're just joining us for the first time, please follow us on Facebook and YouTube. And not also forget to say we are on TikTok as well. But we'll get some small hitch up on TikTok. I don't know the problem with TikTok. We look like for say we'll go live there. Then they assume say something maybe we they tap into somebody else's resources when at the live we sometimes not get permission for do, but it is our live. But we'll get for talk to TikTok directly so that we're able to fix that problem there. So basically we have problems with them anytime we go live, or the link we YouTube and Facebook page directly on the TikTok page. So basically if you don't see you in our TikTok, that's definitely the reason. But I want to say welcome to everybody watching, and for all those who are watching all over the world. Today's program is being specific. So what we talk about today with is review the Sierra Leone 65th independence. And the reason why we do a review now because we don't see a lot so it don't happen within the past 2 days in Sierra Leone. Outside of Sierra Leone, you have many people who are celebrating, you have many people who are actually not doing anything, and we don't know whether the country celebrates the independence itself, but we see so many different activities of stuff that will happen. So today I try for review and look at most of the things that will happen where I feel to say would need we attention. And the reason why I make they do that is because we know they do one thing here and then other people are doing different thing in other places. So it's Sierra Leone's 65th independence, and then you always say we don't 65 years old, you still don't have a footing to anything where you do. It will be a struggle for you for making life. But that is yet to be proven. Because we don't see people that we not been get money when they're small, but now when they're big, they get money. So some people then get money when they become older. I'm not gonna say some they make money when they're only 65 or pass if you work in the mining fields, you get people to dig diamond for you. Sometimes just about maybe you'll be lucky to hit the jackpots and you get a couple of 10, 15, 20 or 50 carats gold or diamond, we're gonna make you become rich overnight. But we are yet to see that happen in Sierra Leone for decades and decades and decades now. Even the diamond and non-vex parina kono. Because first time you go get people that they work on the road, we income, then they wash the gutter there because the gravel itself can get diamond and we can come where they come up from the side of in the mine and they wash them all the way come inside the gutters them of corner. People like in the candle and money. First thing, then go begin watch the gun them for fend diamond. Because it used to be a norm, I would say 40, 50 years ago. But that has changed. Now I make us see the diamond and say baby don't vex parina kono. Because the ten way people them defend diamond on streets, it don't pass. So if you old 65 and you still haven't been able to find your foot into anything that you're doing, I think you should be thinking twice whether you're really going to make it in life or not. Except one way God not say you go better. But if God not don't mark you say you the better, you will get for struggle. And the struggle we get for be faced with is one way you know go imagine because it's very difficult for make people forget that same energy we you been get maybe 30 years ago when you were like 30 years old. And that energy we been get when you were 20 years old is not the same energy we get when you 30 years. It's not the same energy we get when you 40. It's not the same energy definitely when you are 65 years old. So today we try for review Sierra Leone as a nation. What we have come, how far we don't come out, how far we don't day, and how far we get for. So those are the three main areas of voting I try for talk about today in regards to voting in mean for make Salon 65 years old. I know say you're not going to expect say you might need somebody who is maybe older than me, or somebody maybe who you think will be more experienced than me, or somebody who you think may have some knowledge of voting it take for make us sit down and analyze what it really means to be 65. I might not be 65, but I'm getting closer to it. So basically, I am not that young to talk about 65 years of independence in Sierra Leone. I would say I was not yet born, but I was not too far from after Salon gained independence, before they born me. I will left on day because I'm not going to begin speculate about my age right now, because that is not really important at the moment. What's important now, because Salon done 65, so I foresee what's in Salon do for the past 65 years. We say Salon on 65 years. Again, we've gained independence from the sovereignty of the United Kingdom. Great Britain, we colonized almost half of sub-Saharan Africa, and come now the north part of Africa as well, and colonize a lot of North African countries. And we don't see the impacts of colonization, and that impacts is either a benefit we or no benefit we, or it will get for benefit we. That's yet to be proven. Over the past 20 years, to be precise 30 years ago, or more than that, one of the greatest benefits we Salon gets from Great Britain are the fact that we were not actually, applying for visas to travel to the UK. I was fortunate to be on that bunch of Sierra Leoneans that were traveling from Sierra Leone to the UK without acquiring a visa. They gave you visa on arrival at the airport. That's where they issue your visa and ask you what are you coming to do, how long you staying for in the UK, if you have enough resources to stay. So basically, the person where they interview you on that day will determine whether you'll be entering UK or not. So that's how easy things were. And this now right up to the middle of the gruesome war will get, not so even too far from that, because we will be done possibly like a 5-6 years, maybe going towards 10 years, when the rules started to change. So one of the greatest benefits will be to get as Sierra Leoneans, them being colonized by Great Britain, now the fact say we had the privilege for travel to the UK visa free, visa on arrival, and that privilege then cut and short due to some malpractices of some people that maybe they carry Sierra Leone passport and we're not Sierra Leoneans. But it was not as bad as it gets to the stage wherein the war break up now. Finally coming to freedom where all man beginning for say rebel and motor man, rebel not to animal we get tail. So that was one of the most gruesome part of the war where it reached freedom. Now they will see all the atrocities that will happen. In the provinces, yes, there were issues, there were malpractices that were going on, but it wasn't as bad as when the war reached inside the capital city itself. So during that period, they will begin lost some of the privilege that will begin at the west. We begin lost some of the opportunities that we will be the benefits from directly from our colonial masters when our Great Britain. So we begin. I'm not going to say that was the sinking point of Sierra Leone. I will not say that specifically, but that's the time when things become a little bit challenging for people who wanted to travel outside of Sierra Leone, except they have to acquire a visa. So right up to the middle of the war, towards the tail end of we still not been required for take visa. Now they tell you many people in the travel come London on asylum basis. The world come on other basis than they, but definitely we don't been get the time for take visa. We have to just buy our tickets. Back in the days, it was Sabina Airlines. I know very few people may have flew with Sabina Airlines those days. Yes. So now we're on 65 years old. What have we gained 65 years down the line? Again, I see many people, they comment online, they say, oh, well, Salon no better, Salon useless, Salon don't go before, Salon they go backward, Salon don't do well for some, Salon they do very well for some, Salon don't improve greatly for some, Salon don't develop for some. So everybody get their own opinion about what in Salon look and feel like at this particular point in time. But what's your take? What's your take? It's very important. Is your take the same as some of the one that we feel say Salon don't better? Is your take the same as some of the one that we feel say Salon don't deteriorate? Is your take the same as the one that we feel say salon no go better. So everybody have their opinion on how then they reflect on what in salon don't go through for the past 65 years. So my question is, do we really have to celebrate Sierra Leone independence, or we should not celebrate it at all? We should just sit down and open your mouth, they wait for make fly and flop inside it because until we're angry. So that's the question I'm asking. But if I ask you the question and you have an answer, please drop it down at the chats on YouTube and Facebook, so I will know exactly what's your take, whether we for celebrate or we for just reflect, or we don't do anything, we just stay back and sit and don't do nothing at all. So let's have the conversation going. Send me a message on YouTube and send me a message on Facebook if you think that we should celebrate or we shouldn't celebrate, or what is your opinion of where you think Sierra Leone is 65 years down the line. Now, for some parts of the world, you have many people that will celebrate. The most unfortunate thing, independence fall on a Monday. So some people do their own celebration the weekend before Monday. I think people were thinking in the UK that this Monday will be a bank holiday. For some reason, bank holidays normally fall on Monday. So people then believe it's a bank holiday. But yes, na bank holiday, but only in Sierra Leone. So that bank holiday, reflects to be within the diaspora, especially within London. Part of that much influential in the UK government to send them for don't give you a bank holiday if we not Sierra Leonean, or if they carry a Sierra Leonean passport for represent your identity. So unfortunately, it wasn't a bank holiday, so many people were disappointed. But at the same time, people started the celebration way back on the 24th, which is on a Thursday or Friday. So they started off on Friday, some do their own on Saturday, some do their own on Sunday, and eventually some do their own on Monday. You get still more we get for happen this weekend, we something they call after party, we some actual celebration we then they get. So that's the way some people celebrated all over the world differently. For us in London, there were many activities happening around, and those activities were activities that were meant to be attended by many people, but unfortunately we only have a handful. But it wasn't bad at all. It was well successful because the people that attend that event actually graced the occasion on the day. So let's talk a little bit about that, because I think what happened this Monday for some of us in the UK and in America and in some parts of the world, we end up for go protest. I will tell you now why after this sip of coffee. So, some of we end up for go protest, and there's a reason for the protest. So about few weeks ago, so I would say roughly about 4, 5, 6 weeks ago, there were groups of Americans that decided to form a group, and they called the group One Salon. So One Salon was actually pioneered by the Americans. That we decide say, well, we will do a global protest, and the global protest means we will protest for the implementation of the tripartite resolution. We then still the struggle for implements to the fullest. When I say still the struggle, now the current government we signed the agreements with the APC party and with some other stakeholders. Then we the Salon and some other stakeholders. Then we are the moral guarantors. Then we come out all over the world for come and sign these agreements for make APC as the political party and SAPP as the political party and party in governance for able for administer them a resolution there also, so that they should be able to implement them and get the country for being in a better state for the upcoming 2028 election. That was agreed. It was agreed and signed by various different parties that were present in that particular meeting. It was a couple of days conference. We then decide then for put together some of the measures then we go make we not revert back to the 2023 election saga will get. We're up to date. We still never forget results for that particular election day, which is something that everybody we come Salo not happy about, including people that even went to Sierra Leone, because again, it should have affected them greatly. It should have be at their advantage if the election results were announced. So that means if they announce the election results, it might swing the other way. But again, I would say it has happened. It has happened. There are few people who are still aggrieved, and you guys see people that we say let's move on, because at the end of the day, the political motion of voting salon stand for still continues. That will not change. It doesn't matter whether there is a result or no result. Governance will still continue their activities. Political parties should still continue their party activities, and they should be able to be positive about the whole idea. Say the 2023 election has been rigged. There hasn't been any result. It is not something that everybody is happy about. Only some few people that waited at the ruling side will be happy, but although some still not happy, but we still get for deal with that situation there and possibly try to move on away from and prepare ourselves, and APC as a political party prepare themselves for the 2028 election. So the protest will happen on Monday was put together by civilians in the diaspora, primarily people that we believe say salon for protest or civilians for protest in the UK for some of the things that we enable for implement. We're supposed to be implemented by the people that we signed the agreement between the tripartite. So basically, APC will get for walked out of parliament again for the second time, but this time around now, the fact say the current government actually appoints an electoral commissioner we then believe say not fit for the purpose. Reason being, this electoral commissioner has been found not guilty, but they hold him accountable for the fact that he falsified results in the northern part of Sierra Leone during the by-election will happen now, I think na Karina or some village behind Kabbalah or the Kabbalah area. So basically they said he converted something like 300 or something to 800. But basically he falsified some documents. We end up in the polling office and that particular polling station there. We make SLPP get for win that particular seat and then APC lost. So there was a clear evidence against him for say he is not fit to hold such position. And some of the argument they were then putting together with the tripartite, one of which will be both political parties should have a consultation for me to be able to agree to who go be the next electoral commissioner we go responsible for conduct the 2028 election. Because they know as somebody this time around we get party affiliation. But we all see the day where they appoint this particular individual. They will all see the way how the party SLPP jubilates and be very happy. Say they don't appoint somebody we will actually seek their interest, because he has done it before, not long ago, maybe a couple of months ago, possibly closer to a year. We then do that by election day na Kabbalah area. So basically, he is proud to say, yes, I am the right man for the job, and I will make sure that we party come back in power come 2028. Because I don't do them before, and I go do them back. So he was boastful about it. And APC realized, no, we can't sit back and allow this to happen, because if we do, it will be a slap on the face. And it doesn't have to happen twice. And if we sit down, then can it also happen again? We'll not do nothing about it. We will have ourselves to blame. So APC decide for walkouts on parliament for the second time. So this has been going on for like a month now, almost going to 2 months, and then the request to have another consultative meeting with the moral guarantors, then we be initially come and sign this tripartite recommendation. The tripartite recommendation, it represents 3 different arms of people. One, now the government of Sierra Leone, 2, SLPP as a political party, and then APC as a political party. And then now gets all other people and we come on board, civil societies, members of the African Union, members of European Union, members of ECOWAS, and members of the Commonwealth. They all came together with delegations that they sent to Sierra Leone, and I think the UK funded that tripartite recommendation document to be put together in the consultative meeting. It's about $1 million plus. So pound, because then we get for Bingham some elements of expert them for consider them and make the decision what thing they need for do going forward to 2028 election. So it was not an easy task. It was something that the international community has spent a lot of money on. And we all see what's going to be the outcome of the election, what messages were passed through from the European Union and the people that will be responsible for come and monitor the election. They all made it very clear, mandatorily, for say there was no clarification of the election, there was no free and fair election, there was no transparency. Everything in that election was deemed to be fraudulent. They did not make it blatant, but they highlighted all the concerns that they saw. So now that they used to make them bring come the tripartite resolution them and the political party or the government in office when SFPP don't only implement some of those recommendations, but not the ones that are of concern. So ABC decided for say, well, sorry, we will walk out of this parliament because you guys are not serious about this implementation. And it's the right time, it's the wrong time, but I think it's better still. So after these incidents, we decide now say, well, we can't celebrate for Independence 65. And we need to send this government a message. A message will say, we are not ready to move on as usual because there is a lot at stake at the moment. We are in a situation where the government that is in power right now is illegitimate. That's one, because we still haven't got the result for 2023 election. Two, there is still some elements of injustice being perpetrated against people who are not in support of this government, regardless whether they support APC or not as a political party. We've seen the abuse of human rights. We've seen the abuse of freedom of speech. We've seen the abuse of freedom of movement. We've seen so many elements of abuses being perpetrated against the people of Sierra Leone, not specifically politicians, but the people of Sierra Leone. And I think that is important, because the reason why I'm saying the people of Sierra Leone, because not everybody that is a Sierra Leonean actually is a party card carrier for APC, SFPP, PMDC, C4C, or UDM. Not everybody. And the percentage of people that we actually register for them political parties they are so, is not even up to 1 million. It's not. That ain't what good. Because no political party no go tell me that Freetown City gets over 100,000 membership or 200,000 membership. It's not possible. Because they're not going to say for put there. It's not possible. You talk about maybe 5,000, 6, 7, 8,000 something, maybe. But I don't think there's any political party in Freetown or in Sierra Leone we get about 1 million people in their membership. It's practically impossible. That person need to win election hands down. If they get all them people in there as registered party members, they win election hands down. But again, it's not possible. So basically, the reason why I mentioned is now because the people that really suffer the gruesome attack of this government, now people that will get no hands in politics, not belong to any political party safe. But now they suffer the most. Now they need to abuse the most. Now they need to punish the most. Now they need to go through a hell the most. Because the politicians are happy. The politicians having their wages every other month. They get facilities and privileges they're waiting to give them as members of parliament or members of ministerial positions. So they don't have a problem. They are fine. Whether in opposition or not, they are doing extremely fine. Because even the people in the opposition get paid. They get paid every month. They still have their full benefit as parliamentarians. That cannot be taken away because it is constitutional. They still have opportunities to have privileges to acquire or loans or be requested for loans from the bank, Central Bank of Sierra Leone, because they are members of parliament. So they have a huge base of opportunities. So that is not going to go anywhere. And they don't suffer the consequences of what is happening in Sierra Leone. Yes, there might be some elements of intimidation towards them. Yes, there might be some elements of illegal arrest towards them. Yes, there might be some issues that will not be in their favor all the time. But apart from that, holistically, they are fine. That's for politicians. Whether you're APC, SAPP, PMDC, UDM, you name it. As long as you are a member of parliament, you have the full opportunity of any other member of parliament, whether APC or SAPP. Yes, there will be other facilities that you might not be entitled to because they might sideline you because you don't belong to their political parties. You will not be chairing any committees selects in party. I mean, in parliament. So you will be just basically a normal parliamentarian, but you will still have some benefit that they will not take away from you. So the politicians, they need to suffer. The politicians, they not get problem. The politicians, they need to marginalize them. But the politicians, they need to block them from doing what they want to do. The politicians go to work. They've got their bag of rice every month. Their kids are still in private school for some of them. Their kids are still living luxurious life because the politicians have a car that picks them up and their family to work and to school, and they at least have a decent house to live in. They will not suffer for survival because they have a regular income, whether they work or not. As long as they are members of parliament, they will have their salary being paid straight into their bank account every month. But the layman, and they suffer the consequences of the gruesome activities that they happen against Sierra Leoneans them in Sierra Leone. So why we decide for protest? Now, because we want to send the message. So the people holding our power say, we're not happy. We're not happy that they have made a recommendation and it is not been implemented for many reasons best known to the people who are supposed to implement it. But we just want to see their recommendations that has to be implemented. Because if they implement them, things will get better a little bit. Not better, but it will get better a little bit. It will be better small. Because of the thing the way the recommendation they ask for, not in the way they reduce the power of abuse by the current administration. Not in the way they reduce the fact that people will not be fear that much for their life and their safety because the recommendations of the tripartite may have been protecting some of their interests and some of them in physical. So that's all we ask for. Let's implement the tripartite recommendation. Not all of us agree with it. Not all of us were in favor when the tripartite was put together because we thought it was a waste of time. And these are some of the reasons why we thought it was a waste of time. Because now look where we are. 8 months, 1 year down the line, nothing still has been done to implement the major key elements of the recommendation. So we don't suicide the government in power. They play with the constitution. They dump them when they're ready, then they pick them up when they think is useful to them. By ignoring the tripartite recommendation, it means they're going back to the constitution, which is not a bad thing. But hey, hello, why is the constitution so important when you at least you slammed it at some point to say it's rubbish? Oh, now when you want to take advantage of it, you're bringing it in to implement some of the things that you want to do and say, yes, we're going by the constitution of Sierra Leone when it suits you only. Let's think about it, my people. So that's the concern. And if the concern has been raised by Sierra Leoneans in the diaspora, then I think many people should follow suit and do the same. So we see how many people converged that day on Monday. And we were supposed to go to Trafalgar Square. From Trafalgar Square, we actually rallied down to number 10 Downing Street. And it was a very peaceful protest. We were marching. Now they then converse a song. Owen Castle, have been the key leaders in the organization structure, converted the song. And I don't remember the song in one of some interesting songs. If you go to our Facebook or YouTube, you're able to listen to the song. No, Facebook, because you're not able to forget the YouTube that day. If you go to our Facebook page, you're able to listen to the song where Owen Castle converts. Just look at that. That's how creative Sierra Leoneans are. Especially when it comes to politics. We have to make song then quick. So after that process, we marched to number 10 Downing Street. We were there. We were escorted by 2 police officers, a male and a female police officer. We've been there alongside. We right throughout the process. Everybody dispatched at the end of the protest. So it was a very successful and peaceful protest. When we finally get to number 10 Downing Street, we start having speeches by various different people talking about various different things. Owen Council did a lot because he spoke about so many issues that are affecting Sierra Leoneans. We want for highlights on the day. And then you get Malcolm Winner, the current serving chairman for APC UK and I. And then you get Sweet Bonita. And then you get Auntie Sally. And then you get Auntie Cadical Marx. And then you get Mama Saloon. And then you get what our fine young man we talk at the end, and then of course you get Supermate we himself also make some statements. So these are, and then myself officially, myself make a statement anyway. So basically it was just about 6 or 7 people that made statements on that day. And the statements were directed to the reason why we were at number 10 Downing Street, and some of the reasons why we to say the tripartite recommendation should be implemented. So it was a successful afternoon. The weather was nice. We stayed there till I think 3 o'clock or so, and then people start leaving, and then we get some refreshments after that, and everybody went home. But what I haven't seen is the American side of the tripartite protest. Well, they were supposed to be also rallying out that day and going to their own Senate House to hand over a petition letter to some of the people who I think they have highlighted. Unfortunately, we in the UK was not able to do that because the appointment booked was meant to be a couple of days from Monday. I think it was supposed to be delivered, I think Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday. That was the appointment that was given to the people that actually were leading this protest. So it was very interesting. And on my speech, I highlighted some of the concerns that the media is experiencing in Sierra Leone. But go watch the speech anyway, you go see what I say. But I spoke from my heart, because I believe, say, when you talk from your heart, you're able to deliver the best of your ability, because you didn't begin think of what thing will upset people them or what you not go upset people them. I might have said things that were not really nice for some people. Some people not like it, but it's the fact. The fact is always going to remain to be the fact. We cannot hide it at all. So I said something that might not go down well to some people. They might feel offended. They might think I'm picking on them or I'm making a statement towards them. But the fact is the fact. School not two. He asked for talk number 1 or 2. Right. Sorry for that cough. They look like a joke. But anyway, I'm fine. So yeah, the protest was okay, was successful. Everybody came back home safe. Everybody was fine. And then we come back now and do a review of what happens in other places. Like I say, I don't see the American protest pictures or videos or links to go watch and see what themselves do. But I was told that they came out as well and they hand in some of the protest petition letters they were then put together for deliver to the senators and where they for go visit in America there. And we saw what happened in Sierra Leone, in Freetown to be specific. And I think they said there was a concert in Colonial where they say one pound the Peace Choir brother they attend. Apparently traveled to Liberia and can him about so Obo. Now they hold this concert. But again, I'm not saying don't bring a foreigner to the country to perform or to do a show on Independence Day. That money could have been spent on Sierra Leonean artists. Just my opinion. Because I think if you can afford to pay Rude Boy, if that's his name, $50,000 for example, you can split that money and possibly call 50 Sierra Leonean artists. 50. Even if you give them $1,000, they will perform. Even if you give them $1,000, they will perform. It's only going to take like what, 6 minutes or 7 minutes or 8 minutes if they're doing 2 or 3 songs. So you will have a whole crew of Sierra Leonean artists performing on that day to celebrate Sierra Leone 65th independence. Then we go spend just $50,000 or $60,000 on Rude Boy for can perform just for an hour. They fly back into Nigeria after the performance. So economically, it's not good for Sierra Leone because the money does not stay there. It goes to another country. And maybe the money is being paid in cash. So that's even worse. There is no paper trail. There is nothing to show that this money is going to be taxed or anything. So it is a minus on we side. Now minus one successful event we have to say for the whole. Or for don't use Sierra Leonean artists then for do the performance. But anyway, then they don't done that. We can't change them. I understand say yes, they're not free LJ, so but in show we want for do on I think the eve of independence or so was cancelled based on reasons best known to the organizers then, but I feel say I go say still kudos to the fact say they release them and he go possibly don't learn a lesson if he has to learn, but if he hasn't got to learn a lesson then the same thing will happen over and over and over until somebody gets tired one day. But the good thing is he's now out. He'll be able to focus on doing his show. Maybe he will postpone him for make it do him as early as this year or something. Maybe he'll go do it again. Or he could do him for doing Kisali Predi anyway. You never know. But I don't think there's any news yet outside for inform people of whether the show go come back on within this early months of May or something and go postpone. I mean definitely we go make something and not do him again. Then just focus on another show. We could be happening anytime soon. I don't know. I'm just saying this out of my own opinion. And the other thing, I think there was a rumors or campaigns around saying they are going to pardon Zainab Sharif on that day. But unfortunately, we didn't see that happen. Best known to the government and best known to Zainab Sharif herself. Maybe she decided not to do the needful that everybody is asking her to do, which is to beg. I don't see no reason why she should beg. Anyway, at some point, if you have done wrong and you found guilty of that wrong, then yes, it's your right to say you're sorry. It's your right to apologize for something that you may have done wrong, whether subconsciously or consciously. So I not see that they happen, so I don't feel to say they release them at all. I'm not sure whether she's going to run a 4.5 years term or 4 years, 2 months term. But again, if she does, well, now that's God mark. Now that's God mark say go happen to this particular year 2026. Make you just bear with him and make you able to continue for be strong. That's all I would say. And I believe she's a very strong woman and you go continue for be strong. Because to be strong in Sierra Leone, whether you're a man or woman, is very difficult. Very, very difficult. Because the amount of challenge then we get for be faced with, especially if you're a celebrity or some kind of iconic figure in Sierra Leone, everybody going to look up to, thinking you are a role model, you have the money, you have the resources, you have the skill set, you have the mind power, and you have the mindset to be able to change life, then everybody will look up to you. Just like how many people then don't look up to Zainab Sharif, so even though they don't arrest them, it still don't become like a saint in the minds and eyes of many people because they believe say na advantage they seize from them. So that's how things happen sometimes for people. So like I say, we not don't see them don't release them, so maybe something and go release them, something and go wait after all the glady don't release them. Sometimes but they might not even release them. So yeah, that is exactly what is happening now, and we still wait for see whether we get any updates on them. I see me what Steven on cam. Steven Kusha, you lost. Okay, what is Steven saying? Okay, Steven, I'll come to your message later on. I'm not ready for do message them, but continue for sending message them anyway. When I'm ready for read messages, I will be able to read all your messages. But thank you and welcome. It's been a long time. I haven't seen you. I haven't heard from you, and I believe say you're doing well and fine. So let's move on. Now we don't see say these are the activities that will happen, but I saw a specific image, but I wasn't 110% sure. So I wanted to do some research on it, but I think I got caught up with work this afternoon, so I wasn't able to do that research. Now the facts say they don't make Lester Peak. I don't know whether that was AI. But whilst I am live now, Let me just take this opportunity and see whether I will be able to find out whether it's true that Lester Peak has been converted into a tourist site, which means people will have to pay, because you see they get gates there now. People will have to pay to come in, and then they have a balcony, like a gallery, like where they build from this side the hill or road been there. I think they don't cut them, but it looks good. But like I say, I'm not too sure whether that is Lester Peak. I feel to say something like AI, but I can't prove I'm right or wrong whether that AI or not so AI. But if you know anything about that particular structure really of Lester Peak, please send me a comment online, because I would like to know whether that's a real monument. Okay, let me do a Lester Peak in Freetown, because Lester Peak na some prominent area na salon way, I believe say all man way born Oguna salon Sabide. Right. Okay, so I might be correct, because I did see some structures of the developmental thing the way we don't begin do we still they show the like a skeleton of the work. Okay, so if this is true, I think it's nice. But the only but number we get, I think is nice, but Lester Peak. So that's my bots. But I can't talk about the bots. One of the bots now the fact say not everybody can afford to go up Lester Peak. Even if you're driving, it will cost you a lot on your fuel, because the hill is really thin up. I don't get breakdown there at some points. Sometime in Sierra Leone when I was just going up the hill and then just enjoy the landscape at night. It's a very nice place to go at night, and it's a nice place also to go during the day. But if Salon is fully electrified, because I don't talk about Korea, as in if lights there, now the whole of Freetown, when I say the whole of Freetown cutting right across from the west all the way down to the east. So from the west, as in from Aberdeen, all the way down to the east as far as Wataki. Let me say Wataki, because from that end you go able to see, you're not able to see beyond Wataki, because Fabe College Hills, I think they cover that side. But you go see all the way maybe towards Wataki at some point, I think. I'm not even too sure. So if Salon gets full electricity, if lighting at the country all over, is a nice view at night. A very nice view at night. In the day, it's like you're looking into a shallow dump. What I mean by that, now the fact say, it looks like a dumping ground during the day. If you look from Lester Peak, you look down Salon, because all you see is just elements of, I don't know if you don't change now, because I haven't been there for like maybe 10 years, but back 10 years down the line where I did it, all you see now elements of 1 or 2, 3 nice buildings, and then so pan body. Except if you now go within the range of Freetown, the central of Freetown, then you will see here some nice 2, 3 few houses then. But 10 years ago where I've been there, you go see a couple of 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 nice houses them scattered all over the place, just where you put your eye down at the hill, you immediately see. Then everything else really seen upon body. So it was not a good site at all. So I don't know who will pay, because I believe say the way no make right now you pay for good, because it gets some kind of nice comfort area. Like what I see, honestly speaking, is nice. I will not take that away at all. It's a very nice scene, but I just believe no more say it's not good for the purpose now. So yeah, it's true. So basically, let I just read quickly what's in there. Here, with their online newspaper, that's when they always ask you for all kinds of things for access before you get access to. Right. So basically, the Sierra Leone government opens Lester Peak viewpoints to drive tourism and economic diversification. Economic diversification. What does that really mean? Economic to drive tourism. Yes, I understand that. But economic diversification, what does that mean? Economic diversification, how? What is the economy going to diversify for going to Leicester Peak? I don't get that. But anyway, sometimes your English not good for you for me can interpret anything. But I don't see how you go diversify economy in that particular place they will call Leicester Peak viewpoint. Yes, it might drive tourism, which is nice because tourism is one of the key elements of any country's development. So I'm not going to take that away. Depending on the cost of how much you pay to enter there and how long you're going to stay there for, and what are some of the facilities that you might have access to whilst you're there, is very important. But it will have been nicer to have a cable car, just my opinion, where the major one for put cable car and fit over the one that Insai for put them. But this is a perfect location for put the cable car, because when you look at the hills from Leicester Peak, you can actually have a cable car that runs all the way down into the beach. Yes. You can also look at a cable car that will take a diversion from Leicester Peak and takes you all the way to the east. So yes, a cable car will have been very nice, and that will have been a reason why people will possibly go there and pay their money. But for just go there paying money for watching pan body, I don't think so. Because that is practically what your view is going to look like, watching pan body. And as I will go pay, I don't know whether they are paying to go in there anyway, but I'll find out whether they are paying to go in there. And if they pay for go there, I want to know why I for pay. For example, maybe so they will put dollar price safe by this no. Because they're not going for make them like a Leone, so they're going to go put dollar price. And when they go put dollar price just now, and we all know what's in a dollar price, they go to talk, so no, they take Leone and a dollar you pay. Why inside Sierra Leone with the currency in a salon at Leone's? But they're going to go charge you dollar or foreign currency or euros or pounds? No. But guess what? I will not be surprised. Because Taglogama will not be too far away from Leicester Peak. I'm not saying they take dollar, but they get dollar price list. The last time I went there, I was very pissed off with the guy that runs it. But he has been there for well over 30 or 40 years, and I think he has exhausted his time in Sierra Leone. Because the chimp sanctuary has not developed. It has been the same as it is for the past 30 years. Anybody who don't go to make we see a change, please tell me, because that has not changed at all. It's just the same building, the same kind of house, the same outside the worker. Nothing don't change. Nothing. So I don't know what don't change though. But they charge exorbitantly high. So you can't even encourage local tourism. And not to everybody they come that the chimp sanctuary can afford for go and pay a few hundreds of pounds or leones for just go see chimps and the way they stone you. Then they stone them. Why they chimps and the fence will then get if not been that high. Then for they stone people and because they tell go they actually throw stones at us, not to stone them, big block them. They were just too aggressive. Maybe they've been put into that sort of cave for a while. And I remember there is a historical incident we happened there well over 30 years ago where they say one babu they call Bruno. We actually attack somebody, we chop the person in 3 fingers them. And we actually interviewed that guy there because we were fortunate to meet with him that free tongue that been driver. So Bruno, now the guy we fetch Bruno. So these are places that could have been developed for tourist attraction. But again, nothing happens in Australia. Some of them improve. Well, I need to say, now my own part down there, my own use, make I say, so I don't think 65 and improve at the reach just now. But just to cut a long story short, the salon, what do you call it? the Sierra Leone Leicester Peak viewpoints is a very good initiative, but I don't think now is the right time. It might sound like it, but I don't really think it is right at all costs, because again, a lot could have been done with that money that could have developed other areas of essential needs. I mean, you need to go create tourist attraction and area where no even gets a clinic. It's like you're neglecting the priorities of the people that live in that community. And I think that is wrong. So those are the challenges that we might be faced with the viewpoints, Leicester Peak viewpoints. Very good initiative, but I think it's the wrong timing, because the priorities of that particular area may have been neglected, because I don't think there's a clinic even at the bottom of Leicester Peak. I don't think there are no schools there. There's only a private school that I know, which is the American private school. Yes, it's a very close amenity to the American embassy and a few more other embassies that are around it. But are they really going to be, are they building those facilities for people only that can afford? Because a layman that cannot afford a meal a day, no go pay that in last money for going impress baby safe can't go up Leicester Peak. Because Leicester Peak, when they carry woman yourself when I baby, if they got it fully loaded though, if you drive, you make sure say you tank full. If you need a guy, you want to go there with bike, you get for member you can't come back. Because bike man, you need to charge you small money for up there, because the hill it's not bang. It's not bang, I don't go there. Me and Juma, I don't can go hang out to take it walk around for actually gets away from the gruesome atmosphere of it, or to go up Leicester Peak for like then almost a day sometimes. Just sit there, chill, begin do some research and do some review on many things they were things so they strategize on. So basically we used to go there all the time. And not cheap for go there at all. If we go to 1 or 2 or 3 people they want to party then, we get for entertain them whilst we walk. Sometimes we go for make food, we go up there, we get drinks, we get water, we get 15 and with we inside the motor car. But we get for make sure so we full the motor car tank as well, because not a funny ill for claim where. And I really now will get breakdown. Can you imagine? The motor car going in reverse, it can end up now the first host way day before you claim the hill. Now do packer. So it is not an easy place where you could just grab number say you go because you have to go chill out. No. It is not a chill out venue at all. You can't chill out there for no reason. So yes, it's a good initiative. I like the idea. I think I will buy that idea if there are other things that we have prioritized before the viewpoint itself. But I think it was a lost venture for now. There hasn't been much that has been done within the surrounding of that particular area for make you go spend. Well, if they give the bill for that, you say go big shock. Say, hey, I'll bet they will give you $1 million+. But it's a very nice establishment anyway. So I will not be surprised if the bill for that is like what? $2 million? And now by the word, because the balance of that $2 million in a Bokuman pocket, you get for go. But the work look good. To be very honest with you, it don't say where I see then put some kind of nice structures on a salon. So that's I will give it to the engineer or I would say the engineer. We put them together. Good concept, good idea, but wrong timing. Again, if they make a touristic value for the locals, then yes, it will make sense. But if they make a touristic value only for people who can afford it, then yeah, it will be an elephant in the room where nobody knows for pay attention to, because it will be very expensive. Nobody will go there. It will be a total turn off for Sierra Leoneans. Then we something don't use for good day when they don't have anything. We don't use for good for just go chill with the baby they no more. So we're gonna establish and if you miss my young baby now for just walk a pass full, then it's a fear. But we're going to meet you baby when I for Terry and on you. Good. I know shoot a couple of videos then they back as well. So yeah, I know what it's like up there. like a one whole camping season that day. We going to go for camp for almost the whole day. Because you need just going no more, you just spend 1 hour, no, you for spend a couple of hours, at least minimum 3 or 4 hours. So I know what it's like there. Enough funny, that's all. Now net Nike full. But that is just an experience of Sierra Leone, and it's a good experience anyway. Sometimes when you go up there, it can be very cold as well. We went for when away from the heat in South Africa. You go up Leicester Peak. Oh, sometimes it's even dangerous to drive because the place will be so foggy. When I say foggy, extremely foggy. You go struggle for drive down, you struggle for go up, and then get some dead end curves the other man. If you mistake now over the cliff. But you see accidents happen there rarely, very hard for making you say accidents happen at Leicester Peak. So people are very mindful when they're going up there, and they're very mindful when they're coming back down. Even though some they go there for drinking crabo. Some they go there buying poyo, putting one volume down, and buying the drink, but then they're very careful when they drive up and drive down. Hardly an accident there. So that's good. So let's move on. Today is about independence, and I think I need for talk a little bit more about the independence. But that's not one of the issues one of the things that we are still happen we then launch on the 27th of April, which is on a Monday. So it was a good initiative, but again, could have been better. Now let's move on. So basically, let's now go into what the government do. The government did a lot of activities on that day. Like I said, there was an artist, P-Square in Border, with a Wood Boy, I think. Cam Salon, you go perform na Kenema also or Bo. I'm not too sure. I cannot say much about that because I did not have much details on it. But I was told that yes, Ibide Salon, you go perform na one of the provincial towns, the Martina Kenema to be specific. So yeah. Do we have any other celebration in Sierra Leone? No, not officially by the government. Not at all. Because I understand say the president say let people and go pray for the country. Whilst he was hosting the dinner at State Lodge. Well, unfortunately, I did not listen to the president's speech. I don't know whether he's got one, but I think so. I saw the flyer, and let's check if you get one. Because again, I don't want to forget talk Rotorata, but I don't know about anything will happen on that day. But I think yes, I saw a flyer to say the president is going to give a presidential speech about the 65th independence of Sierra Leone, and then go broadcast them na SLBC, and then go also broadcast them na other television stations that are in Sierra Leone, of course the AYV and few more other television and radio stations. So let's see if we get the president's speech for the independence celebration in Sierra Leone. Wait, I get for easy. I don't see the one way they made a couple of years ago now AI then. Because we don't know how they sound like. But this clip, if you do AI, would you know? Because now we don't savvy how AI sound like. You know this guy, but we at all. Is this an AI one? Yeah, this is the one that he actually broadcasted this particular year, 2026. Let's see how many minutes long. It's about 27 minutes long. Okay. I will not be able to plug it in right now. So I'll leave that. Maybe I will have a snippet of it. I will listen to him half and half and see what he talk about in actual fact. Maybe there's some things that he might have said that I might have commented on. But I was so tied up today, so I did not have enough time to actually look up on his speech, because I actually saw the flyer. We say the president, they address the nation. And when the president addressed the nation, we know what normally happens. Right, so let's move on. So basically, the president had a speech, and I don't know what the speech he's talking about, but I will have to listen to it before the end of this program at some point. Maybe I go play them loud, or just play some loud snippets of our normal and go back to what he says. Sometimes I'll go for comments on a few of the things that we say. But I also know say SLPP as a political party was celebrating their 75 years as a political party. Interesting. That's a very interesting call, because the reason I say this very interesting now, because every other year when it comes to independence celebration, SLPP and the president, then they always do something totally different from what the Israelis and for they do. The first independence after President Bio in 2018 election, it was no independence. They were actually, Freetown was dead. Nobody came out. Nobody. And few more other independences. So basically, they don't kill all the elements of the celebration of independence within the past 8 years. Independence during those days, 8 years ago, before President Bio took power, they mitigate lantern parade, they mitigate traditional masquerade, they will be the commode for celebrate Independence Day. They mitigate so many activities that will be happening inside the country. Shows, then upon shows, then upon shows. There were concerts all over the place. Stadium be the full. Then get various other different joints. They will be they make events them. So the country they become economically viable at that point in time. It's only for like a day, but for that whole week, people will be making money. Traditional men were making money by making traditional attires. People already do souvenirs and merchandising, Sierra Leone and artifacts, then they make money because people are buying those artifacts, and then those African attires, then we get something for the green, white, and blue. Flags them in the sale. People already do business, they make money because people they come out a lot in numbers. So it was an economic advantage for that 1 weekday of Independence Week. So the economical value of celebrating independence has been slashed down to zero. When I say slashed down to zero, nobody makes money anymore doing Independence Week in Sierra Leone. Why? And then you have people who are sitting just behind their hammock or their desk. They're making millions without even doing anything. Millions. Okay, how can you celebrate independence with workshops? Come on. Let's be honest. That is not a way to celebrate. Okay, you just celebrate Sierra Leone's 65 years of independence. You go make an under workshop. When people from the West or more guarantors, they want for sponsor for some particular event, share the money. Make a be economical value to the people of Sierra Leone than just the elite of Sierra Leone. How many people are going to sit down for really listen to lectures on what it means to be independent? Or Minister of Information, they do civic education during Independence Week. Then they go do civic education. Civic education should have been taught in schools. You don't need a workshop for that. You don't need a workshop for civic education. It should be on the school curriculum, mandatory. I don't understand those kind of book them people are so go, man. I don't get it at all. But I'll camper some of the quotes then we I see. We come out of the workshop we then do during the Independence Week na salon. Paid people serious amount of money to be panelists. Paid them a lot of money to make a paragraph of a statement, speech. Quotation or paragraph of a quotation will have cost maybe a few $1,000s. Can you imagine that? When that few $1,000s there, if we don't say, okay, look, we celebrate independence, we go pay people and for do artifact them and we share them to people, people will have made money. Economical value is very important. Very, very important. But no, una decide for just make them in a small corner and una just select specific elites of Sierra Leoneans them and una pay them some luxurious amount of money for cash number boku talk. At least una gets paid for talking a lot. We don't get paid. Then at the sad side of it all. So if we continue for begin look at some of the celebration that will happen for Independence Day or during the Independence Week in Salone, you will be very pissed off. Very pissed off. They say we for pray. Let we pray for the country. The one they pray for the country, then bad pass the one they pray for. So how now go pray? How God will answer them prayer? The way the one they pray them bad pass the one they pray for. How God will answer them prayer in the. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Even when it comes to that, now specific individuals and they get paid for that. If you not pay for the country, you are gonna all the mosque and church they in a salon, you are pay all the pastor them and imam there. At least they go make small money. At least. No joke. At least they go make small money. If you not decide for spread the expenses from all the churches they were in Africa and all the mosques in Africa. So these are the serious issues that we have to see for begin look at. Celebrating independence is not a crime. It should not be a crime. It should be a national celebration, not an individual celebration in small corners. But over the past 8 years, we've never had any independence celebration that is national. Never. If anyone knows the national big, please highlight me one. We could call say this now national celebration. We get inclusivity of every Sierra Leonean. No, it has never happened. Either President Bio they gonna Bo, President Bio they gonna Bont, President Bio they gonna Tieung, President Bio they gonna Usai na State Lodge, or President Bio they gonna Bintumani. That's all it is. That's all it is. We've never seen any national independence celebration for the past 8 years. Killing economical values, the economical advantage people don't get within that week for make few money, sometimes go for save and save, for look after their family for maybe for about a month or two. That has been cut off totally. You kill lantern parade. During lantern parade period, then go send money now all the various different areas the way they build lantern. If now 5 million save, that 5 million they will go a long way for some people. Because if they give one lantern club 20 million, so to speak, then go able for spend at least 5 or 10 million per that money for buy the material and for build the lantern. I know about it because I don't build lantern myself in my life. It's no new. So if then we don't say, okay, let we celebrate independence by actually allowing cultural masquerade and for come out. One masquerade host or one masquerade group, sometimes will give them 20 million. That 20 million, this sometimes go pull 5 million there and buy all the AFAF material them for build the devil. Or for build the cultural masquerade they want to fulfill. So that man where they sell probably go make money because sometimes to one person where they can buy two. That man where they sell jiggy they make money. Sometimes to one person where they can buy two. That man where they make lefa they make money. Sometimes to one person where they can buy two. That man where they make raffia they make money. Sometimes to one person where they can buy two. Economical value, spreading the economical value to the people of Sierra Leone is very important. Then you just isolate people and then you celebrate no one at you small corner with just the elites. That's where we are. And then when they turn around for blame the people and say, you're not serious. Let's be honest about some of these things, man. We have to be really honest about it and be very practical about it as well. Because it's not just about being honest, but you also have to be practical about some of the reality that we really just ignore and neglect just because we want for support with party. So now, SFPP celebrated 75 years of independence and then say it's better to celebrate the 75th anniversary of SLPP as a political party than celebrate Sierra Leone's 65th independence. They are saying they are bigger than Sierra Leone. Watch the videos online. I am not just saying this, but watch the videos online and listen to the messages that will come up from the president and some of the people that will be in that particular platform there. SLPP is bigger than celebrating Sierra Leone's 65th. Because they were not talking to APC as a party, because APC is not 65 years it, or they're not 75 years it, or whatever it might be. Not so APC they celebrate their birthday. Not so APC gets Independence Day. Not so APC they celebrate independence 65 years of Sierra Leone. No, it is Sierra Leone. So when you make you 75 year birthday and you compare and say we they teach them because they're not bobo there. APC is not Sierra Leone. The people that they carry APC particularly not reach 500,000 in the whole country, possibly all over the world. They don't reach 500,000. So why you make comparison about Sierra Leone and APC? Also APC they celebrate 65 years. So SLPP might be 75 years old, no problem. But what has that got to do with Nabobode? We they teach them what's in our politics. Now Salone is 65, not APC. They could not prioritize what they prioritize. Because if they boastfully say SLPP big past Salone, okay, SLPP can never be bigger than Sierra Leone. Because there was Sierra Leone before SLPP. SLPP is 75 years old, according to your records. But Sierra Leone was 100 years old before SLPP became a political party. Because even Pedroda Center will say event salon, a mid salon don't exist. People were living there. So you can't make those comparisons. And that has been a trend. That has been a consistent trend for the past 8 years. If it is not Bo, it is Bont, it is Kenema, it is Pujon, it is State Lodge, it is Bintumani. You name it. It's always a private entity. President go fly or first lady go fly in, all the expats, them, foreigners, them for Canada country and make an exclusive dinner for them. Excluding Sierra Leoneans, because Sierra Leoneans don't celebrate at all. Everything has been put on hold. No celebration for Sierra Leone's 65th independence. No celebration since the past 8 years. Not at all. None. So it's really a shame. It's really a shame. And when you look at the people who celebrate, how many of them? A handful. A handful. That handful, they will make a difference in Sierra Leone? No, they won't. That handful will not change the status quo of what Salone stand for. It will not. Independence has always been a cultural event. Independence has always been a national event. Independence has always been an event that is being celebrated by all Sierra Leoneans and friends of Sierra Leoneans if you choose to have them. But a lot has changed over the past 8 years. We have ceased to celebrate Sierra Leone independence. And now within that 8 years, they realize, say, what's the point? I will not even celebrate independence anymore because it's of no use now. It's of no use. How you go celebrate, then the one who comes in celebrates? How you feel? Okay, I go to a club, go enjoy fun with me party, and then you come back now, so you meet all man the Sokia. All man the wait for, hey, you don't come, we'll not get nothing for it, so you don't go celebrate independence. You know, most man go museum and not even get light on the days for Independence Day. But I don't know why you will be concerned about just not having lights on that day. What about the other days? What about the other days? Are they not important? Wrong priorities. Wrong priorities. For so many reasons, wrong priorities. Now, the Minister of Information, the quote, he made a statement. I'll come to in quotation because I screenshot almost the whole watching on Facebook. Because now only one makes sense and gets meaningful in interpretation. Only one. But how would you spend a whole week on workshop for civic education of how much value or premium Sierra Leoneans should put on developing Sierra Leone? You spend a whole week to do that? Do you actually need a workshop for civic education in Sierra Leone? That's the duty of the schools. Civic education should be taught in school, not to institution and they can't teach civic education. Now school work. Now school work. We were born in the early years where we meet up in GCO level. We not been sabi what's the national pledge. The national pledge came after the war. That's when the national pledge came, after the war. I pledge I pledge my oath and loyalty to Sierra Leone. I don't even know what it is. Because we don't meet in our school. So civic education is a school thing. From primary school now they begin civic education. That's why they don't grandpa. We don't know even what the value of the green, white, and blue. Now I can teach her. If I don't know the value of the green, white, and blue from me, 1 year old, from where begin nursery. If I don't know what the green, white, and blue stand for, that's the way you don't old. Now they can't teach her what's the meaning of the green, white, and blue. How many people know the meaning of the green, white, and blue? What it represent? The green, the white, and the blue. What does it represent? How many people know that? How many? Very few. Very few. Now they teach you, not in school in the teach you. Because you get social studies. Social studies. Sometimes we minister right now not do that in our school. So you don't even know the value of her. Because I beke picking there. I know this respect to beke picking them, but sorry, civic education wasn't taught to them. They don't know what the value of civic education. Now I can't teach grandpa there. I beg you, please, reverse the psychology of teaching civic education, not in institutions, but in the classrooms. From where beginning and not begin go nursery. Then you'll be able to install the value of being Sierra Leonean in their head, not to not on Ulpa. Because they're only going to do it for money now. Because they sit in that workshop and make money to talk about how can you have a foreigner talking about civic education in Sierra Leone. We don't sabi the value of salon safe. We don't know the value of cassava leaf. We don't know the value of crane, obiata, sawa, sweet sharp, bitter cola, piassava, elephant's grass, chuk plum. Let's be honest. Lester Peak, when announced to the viewpoint, so Lester Peak was a place for hiking. Where will be the go there? Where we have been scouts and guards guide them. And Lester Peak will be the go. We'll go camp there for like 1 week. We're going to the interiors of Lester Peak. Those values have gone. So civic education for salons should be taught in school. Not in boardrooms. Not in workshops. You go teach civic education to that man who will not even sabi voting at green, white, and blue. You don't take civic education to the village, you start at the school because they pick in there and they show them parents the value of voting, they not sabi. In the UK or in other parts of the world, they teach their kids their own civic education, the value of you being British, the value of you being America, how much value they put towards that flag. The American flag is like your life. The American flag is like your life. I have the Sierra Leone flag with me every time and everywhere I go. That's the value. Sometimes you not get salon flags in your office, you call yourself minister. I'm very serious. You might not even have nothing that represents you in your office that shows that you're Australian, past president, you're in picture and you background. You done. That's what makes you a proud Sierra Leonean, because you have your president. Any picture where you see them take now, any government institution, President Bio's picture is the most prominent picture from even the people who snap the picture. I'm not denying saying picture, not denying the cell sign the snap, but if all man is here for move self for go snap, who's in picture day. Francie. That's what it is. Value or less value of what you think you should have. That's what it is. we don't pride ourselves properly. We give ourselves minimum kind of respect and value that makes us look like Dumbe's. Dumbe. When I say you're not Dumbe, you're not a fool. You're a fool for life, bruh. So therefore be very mindful of what in 65th independence means to Sierra Leone, not to APC or to SAPP, to Sierra Leone. What have we benefited? What developmental strides have we made? The minister says since 1961, we Salon gained independence. Guess what thing did happen? We did not have roads. We did not have full electricity. We did not have hospitals. We did not have technology. But hello, I tell you what, with or without all of those facilities, 1961 Sierra Leone is better than it is right now. I'll bet you. Because there was pipe-borne water. Yep. When the English colonized us, you're saying, oh, we should not go back to colonial days. Yes, if we have to, let's go back to colonial days. Because colonial days might sound to be colonial days, but they are better days. There was a structure that people follow. If you go online, check for old pictures of Freetown or old pictures of Sierra Leone, you go see, say, Malama Thomas skit or Abacha skit where it is so. Now, mean train run. Train me, they run day. Do we have any train system in Sierra Leone anymore? No. Guinea still gets train track, although then train track they use them for different things now, but they still have it right in the middle of Conakry. Now, they would call tram now, so inside Southeast London or inside London, tram. Now we need train and then they run a salon in the 60s where you they talk say salon be worse than how it is right now. So another the fool people they don't know about salon, I know one of the fool because the one they don't know about salon, Sierra Leone was better. I don't say Freetown was Sierra Leone was better in the 60s, in the 70s, in the 80s, and even in the early 90s, or even in the late 90s, compared to the way Sierra Leone is now. So if you talk, say, Salon don't develop, how? Yes, changes have been made. Is that the changes we want to see? No. Can it be better? Yes. How can we make it better? By working together, collective cohesion, not segregated cohesion. Collective movement, collective work. We should come together as a nation. For help build. It's not a one-man show. It's a collective inclusion. Not a one-man show. One-man show can never make it work because it's an individual show. So, like we know they say, oh, Salon don't better. How? How? By building houses without no structure. For go plant one big skyscraper and stuff like. Because get for go plant 1 6 7 story building, and you not even get water for one going at the top floor of that 6 7 story building there. You call that development? I beg you, please. Now you have places in Sierra Leone. Chapter 1, $1 million establishment. How many Sierra Leoneans can afford to go there? How many? Let's be honest, how many Sierra Leoneans can actually afford to go to chapter 1? For just go no more, she don't have the swimming pool now $50. She don't know more. You don't do nothing. For go no more, you sit down na the swimming pool na $50. They don't know bill me to not me bill and I get talk no more. Because obviously just number na me bill. Not me bill na the bill of other people they was sabi. Oh. $50. And when you go to your phone, you do your selfie. I'm in chapter 1. This is me at chapter 1. You're paying $50 just to take pictures around the pool. How many Sierra Leoneans can afford that? Let's be honest. How many? How many Sierra Leoneans can actually afford $50 for just go sit down at chapter 1 in swimming pool no more and take pictures? No drinks, just to chill and take pictures. $50. Like seriously? Anyone at Colonial development? where it can only accessible to only a few people. That's not development. Only 1% of the country's population, not even 1%, 0.1% of the country's population can afford to go to chapter 1. That's not development. I don't call that development because not everybody can access that development. That's fact. So look, not fool yourself by saying, oh, Salon don't develop. How? Look, not fool yourself by saying, oh, a lot has changed. Yes. A lot should have been, Salon should have been better. Way better than what it is right now. If only we were working together. If only we were working as a nation. If only we are honest about ourselves. If only we haven't been that selfish to each and every one of us. If only we were thinking civilian. If only we have the same mindset of development. If only it doesn't have to be me for things to work. If only we can think national. If only we can look at our face to see the tip of our nose. If only we cannot spite our nose or face by cutting one side of our body. That's if only we can. Look the other way and then make it a positive look. If only we can believe in ourselves, then just about maybe, we'll make a difference. But it get for be about Joe Blocks, it get for be about Suzanne, it get for be about Asatu, it get for be about Kadiatu, it has to be about Joseph, it get for be about Suleiman, it get for be about Mohammed. Only individuals. Every organization that you have in Sierra Leone is known by the person that owns the organization more than the organization. Trust me. Institutions are known by the people that owns the institution than the institution. Or that's people that own BBC or CNN or Al Jazeera. Institutions in Sierra Leone are known by the owners more than the institution. Show me one institution where poor players are knows about the owner. Show me one. Where you know that the owner, now the institution owner you know. Show me one. They will call that institution by the person's name. Not by the person's name. Always alongside the person's name. Because we only think self. So they promote we name alongside with institutions. It done. You sabi T-Boy? Who's T-Boy? T-Boy for Sierra Gem. You sabi Gino? Who's Gino? Gino Lavo for AYB. You sabi Lamgana? Who's Lamgana? Lamgana for True Talk. Or Truth Media. That's all we know. Name and organization. Name and organization. But we turn at this part of the world. Very few. The company stands tall because the company is what exists, not the owners. Because some companies they get like a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different owners there. So you can't even call all of them. Because they have shares in that businesses. Because they work collectively. If somebody decides to take their shares today, somebody they buy them back. The business still they run. The business still they run. That's the difference. So don't not complain about, oh, we're celebrating independence and we're just doing it in our own corner. Let's talk about this Minister of Information in quotation in a way if listening and the changes with Salon they go through. So they spent a huge amount of money, I believe, on independence workshop sponsored by somebody, maybe the German government or some government. And they start with in your message, and your message first now start with, because again he mentioned a message we put back on video. I saw the video today and I was like very pissed off, like really this guy? This boy, you know what he's talking to? This boy the joke, man. But they blame him. Na bekebobo. The Becker school they within the go now make the neighbor for know the value of what salon stand for. Because if you suffer with GCSE, you know for say Alex if you get division 3 self with GCSE together division 3 day. So say sound than the Becker students where they right now they get the best result. Compared to the 10 way some man they get division 3 in salon. Now these are the quotations that are coming from the Minister of Information 65th Independence Anniversary. This is not the minister in Chegnoba. I don't know why they make him Minister of Education and Minister of Information and Civic Education. He doesn't even know the meaning of civic education. That's why he's teaching people in lecture rooms. Quote starts. He said, "Do not allow anyone to tell you Sierra Leone has made no progress. Recognize how we have come and build on it. The responsibility to build a better nation now lies with us, especially the young people." Really? The responsibility to build a better nation now lies with us, especially the young people. I bet it categorizing itself for be young people, first and one. Then two, young people. Within the past 5 years, young people, what have they been known for? Where you they say, we first start with young people. What have they been known for within the past 5 years? Young people. Let's say the benchmark is young people. What have they known them for within the past 5 years? Young people. Not drugs. Okay, within the past 10 years, what have they known young people for? It's still drugs. So, when you talk about young people, we have to be a little bit specific here. Because the same young people that we say we start with, they're not popular for drug consumption, drug abuse, drug taking, where they lead to so many other illnesses than we don't see. The biggest one are the Kush syndrome, we don't take place in salon within the past 5 years. And it's still ongoing, but now they don't sweep them under the carpet, so you don't see the worst of it anymore. And then you just say the responsibility to build a better nation lies with young people. Really? Now the young people and they want for bring camp for can't develop salon. Really? Chagno, you really serious about what you're saying? The young people are waiting at salon and they want for Leone for develop salon. I think that's a massive big mistake. The next one by Andrew Saini Kamara Esquire. I bet this is a lawyer. Nation building is a shared responsibility. We all have a role to play. Your ideas, your voice, and your participation are essential to Sierra Leone's progress. Okay. Now, young people don't have a voice in Sierra Leone, first. Young people's ideas in Sierra Leone are not taken into consideration. Second, young people in Sierra Leone have a minimum or no role to play in Sierra Leone's development. Minimal or no role at all to play in Sierra Leone development. I'll tell you why I say so. Because one, the young people who are getting a salon not sabi even for share responsibility. They don't. Because they always think self. They don't know how to share responsibility. For making you meet an association or an organization run by young people, then get shared responsibility. No. The one person here, the chairman here, the secretary here, the accountant here, the whole thing. They get people who they work for more. But they are the whole thing. So they don't even know how to share responsibility first. Do they give them ears to listen to their ideas? Do they really have time to get them to sit and discuss their ideas? And also for the one they're really close to power. I'm talking about young people in general. School leavers, school-going kids. Because back in the days, in our days, we cannot say back in our days, we used to have debates in LLB society organization, they will bring people, they will get brain for discuss about issues, for talk about things then. You get small school groups that we been get grammar groups that we been go on. Concert plays them, they come together for every independent. I have filmed a couple of primary school going kids now. I'm Akibo Bets and Tower Hill Municipal. When they do songs them for compete within that small township day. When they do sing songs them. Music competition. And we were actually going there. This was like what, 15, 20 years ago? I think about 20 years ago. Yeah. We will go there. We will film them picking and they whilst in they sing and we will broadcast them on live television. We did all of that. Tell me when that don't happen at Salon, would it try to involve young people? Some of those young kids have been able to go into various different areas. The last I see one panel and say they I think they university stuff now or you don't done. This na primary school picking them all. Where mean they go Tower Hill, Akibo Bet, then saying they would outside AY video so at CCN TV. We will engage all them primary schools then they. All them primary schools and they will be engage them. We'll be going to the school, talk to the head teacher them, ask them for beginning we get skills in media, bring them can, give them some basic media skills, bring them kind of the television environment, show them it's not. We were doing all of that whilst we were in Sierra Leone. It's about 20 years ago. That is how you engage the youth, the young people. You develop their skills when they're young, not so when they're not old. When they're not already sick interest in something else and you want to draw their attention to what you want to do, that you can't get it right. It has to be when they are young. So, Mr. Andrew Kamara Esquire is the permanent secretary for Minister of Information and Civic Education. Again, I don't understand where you get that position from. Permanent secretary. You're not a lawyer. You're supposed to be a lawyer. You should be in the courtroom right there. How can you have a lawyer as a permanent secretary? How does that work? And then you put Esquire back again at the end of your of your name. How? How does that work? A permanent secretary should be a civil servant, not a lawyer. A lawyer should be representing a permanent secretary, not representing the Ministry of Information. You should be a lawyer. You should be in the courtroom representing people who are committing crime or defending them. And you are the permanent secretary. Jesus Christ. Okay. Well, I see why you forgot this because I don't know if it's the right thing. All right. This is now Dr. Cecil A. Blake, founder of Alternative African Futures Group. I don't know where this man is from. Maybe it's Australian. I'm not too sure. This is now a message. Every citizen, regardless of background, must commit to being responsive to the needs of our motherland. Development cannot be outsourced. Resilience is not passive endurance. It is the capacity and the will to confront and resolve problems with purpose and discipline. All right, there's a lot of big grammatical messages on this one. We possibly the layman self we send this message to not understand Jack. Not say no understand that you know understand Jack. I'll tell you why. How can somebody understand what it means by resilience is not passive endurance? How can somebody understand that who does not even understand what English is? And this is somebody who then puts together for teach civic education for independence. Civic education. We then can grammar, yeah? How can this be civic? What's civic about this education? With their message they ask you. What? As every citizen, regardless of their background, must commit to being responsive to the needs of our motherland. Okay, when people try to be responsive to the needs of their motherland, in terms of creating opportunities for them to be able to be employed, they don't have the opportunity to be employed. So they basically go into universities, getting their graduation, they study hard, and ready to come and implement what they have learned. There is no job opportunity. How can you be responsive? How can you when there are no channels for you to be able to engage? No opportunities for you to respond to. How can you be responsive to the motherland when the motherland is not creating anything for you to be able to engage into? You are going to be the opposite of being responsive. Because there is nothing for you to respond to. Nothing has been created for you from the motherland for you to be able to react to. For say, okay, they don't create opportunities here. Let me try to respond to that. Let me try to get myself involved in that. So we cannot be responsive to the motherland if the motherland is not giving us the opportunity. How can we be responsive to something that does not exist? How? There are no job opportunities, no training opportunities, no facilities that can develop our skills. How can we, or what are we going to be responsive to? What? So that's a struggle. And you're putting all these documents together, you call it civic education for people that don't know nothing about civilian, or what is the essence of civic education. What is civic about this statement? What is civic about this? So basically, again, this man may have been paid a lot of money to put that 5 or 6 lines together. Oh, this is a paragraph. But guess what? The designer nicely put in picture at the side, make a big quotation where start but not end. So these are the people that are leading us. These are the people that are telling us what to do, and even they themselves are not getting it right. So that's the problem. All right, so to make it even more sweeter, they bought a pretty young, fine-looking white lady, we then call Dr. Stephanie Brinkle, Director, Regional Program, Political Dialogue, West Africa. So this must be a European woman who may have been sent by her country people to come to Africa and explore. That's pretty much what it is. They give her a budget to say, okay, go and do some political some political dialogue or some political research on political dialogue for West Africa. How can you create this discussion between West African countries so that they'll be able to work together? So that we'll be able to engage all of them at the same time. So they distribute them in all the West African countries to gain knowledge and cultural values of how they can work with us, and they will benefit from working with us than we individuals working with them. So it's the other way around. But let's listen to what she says. Civic education empowers citizens with the knowledge and skills to participate meaningfully in society. Me say, oh, it's different. The true success of this seminar will be measured by the actions we take afterwards. Okay, now, she did not write jargons. She did not write anything that is going to make you think, what does that mean? Basic, simple English that has meaning and reaction points. Reaction points. Something that you will do after this action. So a whole seminar was put together for civic education during the 65th independence celebration of Sierra Leone by the Ministry of Education. How beneficial is that? How can that be beneficial if we haven't been able to empower citizens with the knowledge and skills for them to be able to participate meaningfully in society? How does that work? How much power and skills are you going to impact them with? First, how proud are you as a Sierra Leonean? What value do you carry as a Sierra Leonean? If I put you on a boat today to go to Europe and then I give you $1,000, what would you prefer? That's the amount of knowledge you should be able to give young people so that they'll be able to participate in society. Give them the value of belonging. Give them the value of national values. Give them the value of the reality of what life should be like in Sierra Leone. Some of us never wanted to leave Sierra Leone. Trust me. Because we were doing very well whilst I was in Futa. I was doing extremely well at that young age of mine. I was making money with my skills, with my hands, with my mindset, with my knowledge. And I was passing on that knowledge to many civilians in my community. I was teaching at that early age. I was passing on the skills that I already learned from my elders. At that age that I was so young, not even up to 15 yet, I was passing on my skills to people who are older than me. And they were making their living. They were putting values to our culture. They were maintaining the cultural values of what the artifacts of Sierra Leone should be, and it is still there. People are still going to Sierra Leone and buy things that I actually personally introduced in Sierra Leone as a child, and it is still in existence. That's how much value I have placed. Minister, Minister, money man. But it's what this woman say. Civic education empowers citizens with the knowledge and skills to participate meaningfully in society. The true success of this seminar will be measured by the actions we take afterwards. So basically, what is going to make this seminar successful is some of the things that we are going to put in place and execute them. Otherwise, it's meaningless. And that is exactly what it's going to end up to be like. Because after this celebration, and don't put this thing for show the world, say we've done this, that's it. Next day is something else. If you check now the Minister of Information in page right now, this day right now the bottom. 2 days ago, it go there right now the bottom of him feed. Because you don't clutter them with plenty political or other elements of stuff the way in feed the same value past this civic education way they push. So it's gone. Next one. I mean, just did right. Next one by Dr. Fatou Taki, Director of Academic and Careers Advisory and Counseling Services of the University of Sierra Leone. Okay. What's he say? True equality means ensuring that men and women have the same opportunities to thrive. Empowerment is about giving people the skills, confidence, and opportunity to reach their full potential. Yes, you have to give people the skills, you have to give them the confidence and the opportunity. But not all of them will reach their full potential. Does not necessarily mean they haven't been empowered. You can empower somebody to realize the fact that they are human. You can empower somebody to realize the fact that they are capable to do more. Not everybody is going to reach their full potential. So if you measure someone's ability to get to their full potential, then nobody will pass. Because even the ones that are making money, they will still tell you, I'm not tired for making money too, because I know you choose I want it. So if you've been limiting somebody now to say, you need to get to your full potential, when is the time that you realize that you achieve your full potential in anything that you're doing? Because you always want more. So your full potential will never arrive. Your potential is what makes you capable to be able to do things to sustain your life. Your potential is what gives you the ability to be able to understand how you can develop yourself to the next level. So yeah, maybe, I don't know what she means by that, but I think nobody can achieve their full potential until they're dead. Because for any time you achieve something, you want more. You want more. You keep wanting. You keep wanting to achieve more. You keep wanting to go the next level. So you don't have a level of achievement in life, because your level of achievement is when you decided you don't want to do nothing anymore. That's it. You're dead, or you're not able, you're not capable anymore. That's where your full potential ends. Because you don't have the ability, you don't have the strength, you don't have the energy, you don't have the finance to take you from where you are to the next level. But if you have all of those that I've mentioned, then your limits for your full potential is still not yet arrived. You can still do more and more and more for you to get to your full potential. Let's move on to the next one. All right, this one by Mohammed Jawad Nyali, Strategic Communications Advisor, Ministry of Information and Civic Education. He says the key question is not what the country will do for you, but what you will do for your country. Each of us must define our role in building a stronger Sierra Leone. What did Sierra Leone really do for me? Is the question. What has Sierra Leone done for me? Okay, for me, I go say Sierra Leone has done a lot for me because I grew up in a Sierra Leone that have value. I grew up in a Sierra Leone that respects people. I grew up in a Sierra Leone that have education as the backbone of success. I grew up in a Sierra Leone that you cannot be seen doing anything dodgy to succeed in life. I grew up in Sierra Leone where the level of competition is not malicious. So yes, Sierra Leone has benefited me. I would say that. Not financially, but it has installed some value in me that I still hold to the highest esteem of my survival today. If it was the Sierra Leone that I was born in is the same Sierra Leone that anybody else was born into and currently live, you can see the difference in lifestyle from the Sierra Leone that people actually live now. So the Sierra Leone that I was born into has shaped me to be what I am today. So yes, I have benefited from that Sierra Leone. So I will not be selfish for not giving back. This is some of what I'm doing now is giving back to what Sierra Leone gave me. Sierra Leone never gave me millions. I don't thief millions for Commander Salon for be proud to say I've got $50 million in my bank account. No, but Sierra Leone gave me knowledge. Sierra Leone gave me the skill set that I have today. Sierra Leone gave me the value of what should make you a proud Sierra Leonean. Sierra Leone gave me everything that I possess today that is making me who I am. So yes, I'm happy to give back to Mama Salone, and that is exactly what I'm doing. I've done it when I was younger without even acquiring any of these skills that I have today, and I will continue to do it even as I am right now to give back to Mama Salone. So yes, this statement is correct, but it only goes to people that have benefited from Sierra Leone. The current situation of young people that we have in Sierra Leone right now has not benefited anything from Sierra Leone other than destruction. So what are you expecting them to give back to Sierra Leone? Nothing. These are the ones who are running away to leave Sierra Leone. Even if they go die, they will go just because they want to leave the shores of Sierra Leone, because Sierra Leone has not given them anything. Sierra Leone has not offered them nothing. So they are very happy to leave. If na for go die safe na other man country, they rather go die na other man country than they die na salon. So man they say before I die na salon, man go die na water. May not beg me body safe na salon. That's how bad it is for the youth, for the young people. So they are not going to be proud of what Sierra Leone has given them. Sierra Leone has not offered them nothing. I'm not saying for the small 1% in Nakona. I'm talking about the general youth in population. Not the very small amounts of Sierra Leoneans that have access to power. No, I'm talking about Sierra Leoneans that are actually the real. No man will say the Yas Salon because the Yas Salon man and the one that SAPP. That's so Madam First Lady don't say. But I'm being honest here. Salon don't give me a lot, so I am proud to give it back to Sierra Leone, and that is what I'm doing. I've done it before, and I'll continue to do it. But for the current Sierra Leoneans that we have in Sierra Leone, Salon don't offer them nothing. If you not thief, if you not swindle somebody, if you not hold up somebody, if you not lie, if you not depend brag bobody, the struggle is beaucoup. Man, not like the struggle is beaucoup. So you not be a happy person to give back to Sierra Leone because you might be thinking Sierra Leone has not given me nothing. So tell you can give back. That's not it. I be when I put me in a boat, but I go to temple run. For then I say if you better. The next one. This now Isaac Shekubayo, youth representative of Sierra Leone to the United Nations. This first it definitely don't pass 40. How can you represent the youth of Sierra Leone at the United Nations? How? I don't understand how somebody that looks like a 45-year-old or 50-year-old man is representing the youth of Sierra Leone. Isaac Shekubayo, youth representative of Sierra Leone to the United Nations. What did they do there? I beg, but yeah, tell me what this man they do as youth representative for the United Nations from Sierra Leone. Now, big man. All those man became a big man. Now, like you go put woman and for represent youth in football. Sierra Leone Boys Football Association. There you go put woman as the representative. Then you do so. You go take big man, you go put and make it represent youth. Now United Nations, whose kind of youth knowledge they go impact for people? You get youth background for us? That's I don't know anyway, so I'm not going to talk too much on that. But the man don't old. Not so youth man and they're not even reduce youth age now salon to what 40 or 30 something. So this man don't look like that. So this look like a 45-year-old man, they go 50 now. This is not a big man. How can he represent youth at the United Nations? Big mistake, but anyway, make I read what you say. Democracy is not only about election, it is about participation every single day. Very good. Young people must not only demand accountability but also contribute actively to national development and become partners with the states. Right. So in this case, the young people are only partners with the state by actually purchasing state-owned drugs, that is kush. Is that good participation with the states? Hell no, I don't think so. So I beg their reframe, because if you get young people partnering with the states, and majority of what we see young people they partner with the state with now the state-owned drugs when are kush, then you get for reframe that statement that is not correct. Young people must. Democracy is not only about elections. It is about participation every single day. It is about participation every single day. How? How can you participate in democracy every single day? I don't understand what that means. But I not do well too long on it because it's not old map. Now old powerful, you know they represent you in the United Nations. You don't pass 45. Fatmata Bintu Kanu, language and literacy educator. This is about work. You get about work. Because the people in our salon say we their language then say when they speak in a class, no problem. Okay. Young people in Sierra Leone face exclusion from decision-making spaces, and this disconnect weakens trust, social cohesion, and national resilience. We call on the government to take bold, deliberate action to create an enabling environment where young people can thrive as active citizens and partners in development. This just answer my question. We ask, I think, to the third speaker, we say, yes, now true equality means ensuring that men and women have the same opportunities to thrive. Empowerment is about giving people the skills, confidence, and opportunity to reach their full potential. That's na Fatu Taki. This woman just don't make it clear. Young people in Sierra Leone face exclusion. This is facts. Just like what I said earlier on, if you don't get them to sit on the table to discuss the issues and listen to their skill sets of how you can improve them, then they can't be they cannot be partners in development because they are not inclusive. So now Fatmata Bintu, now they advise governments now so. Young people in Sierra Leone face exclusion from decision-making spaces, and this disconnects weakens trust. So basically, if young people are not involved in decision-making for what their needs are, they will not have trust for any institution that is going to bring anything to them. Now you want for eradicate kush. And then the young man they sell the kush tell you, say, brah, if no one make this thing stop, with the cow go say and they make the kush, they wanna say no, no the good. I don't know how to make them stop for make kush, we don't know how for go say in the manufacturer. When the man where they go deal with the thing, they tell us say, now this you for do for make kush stop. When the youths then at the area begin catch them kush man and begin beats them, kush stop now some areas. Because the youths took upon their own initiative to eradicate kush in their communities. So if them face from one young man say they take kush, then they go put on their house. And yeah, good dirty beats. Ken, all man they can beat and proper. Last year by which side they go sleep and they don't whip you say. You don't tire. It stop. But who air and never kush end. Because the youth man say now they can problem with community with this man. Then they go first to the one the way they sell them, begin catch them. Publicly humiliates them. Then make kush begin reduce money some area them more. Because the youth man they decide for make decision for themselves. And see government didn't listen to we, what would they stop kush in our own area? Anybody where they sell kush now, so now enforce will go to force. Then they go attack you now, you also embarrass you, take all the kush now and destroy her, and then publicly march you in the community. It is not a nice thing to do, don't get me wrong. It's mob justice, just like what the first lady said. But then it help a lot for eradicate kush in some areas then, because the youth decided to take action on their own. That is exactly what this young woman is saying. Famata Bintu, they say the government should be able to allow young people to be able to participate in decision making. We call on the government to take bold, deliberate action to create an enabling environment where young people can thrive as active citizens and partners in development. So we call on government to take a bold and deliberate action to create an enabling environment is they refer to environments where people are able to get access for do things. When people are able to get access for participate in developmental strides. When people are able to get access for be engaged in some of the issues the way they affect the community. But if you exclude them, how can they help to develop that community? You can't. The other day I saw a video on TikTok where they talk about the droughts where they happen in Ethiopia. So basically, this young man used to live with these people, but he had a little bit of education, so he moved into the interiors of, into the city of Ethiopia, and then one of the people when they send in own village outside there for educate the people about how they are able to maintain the small water we then get for preserve them. So if droughts come, it not go affect them that bad. Then it not just they do that, but they also lobby to the people where they supply water for me they will focus supply in village. So he is paying back to his community. His community has allowed him to be able to engage and sit down that decision-making panel and for me they able to strategize because he already don't get that small knowledge. So the old people in the village, then they listen to them. Then they sit down and they discuss ideas them. What in them for do for preserve the small water in the gates. Young man, but he's been involved in developmental strides with the community. That's why his community is strategically changing. So these are some of the values where you for put for young people. So may I continue for read the last two, and then I will wrap up soon. And that was the last one anyway. So it's good that that was the last one because it makes so much sense. So, young people can thrive as active citizens and partners in development. So basically, government should be able to create an enabling environment for young people to be able to engage in discussion and thrive. So, Minister of Information, I beg, please, all you investments in the workshop where you do for the 65th independence celebration of Sierra Leone, it only makes sense for few people that be able to understand the language. 1, 2, few people that way gets time for read all what's in the right. So few people that way forget the opportunity, forget access for going to Facebook. Don't for go learn, that for go see things where they make them laugh and have fun. Civic education is not for the lecture room, it's for the classroom. Civic education for them start from grassroots, primary school, from nursery. Civic education is about maintaining the value of what we stand for as Sierra Leoneans. Civic education is not rocket science. It's to embed the value of Sierra Leone to Sierra Leoneans the way they are young. The cultural value, development value, structural value, political value, tribal values. All the values that will make we Sierra Leoneans them. We cultural divide where we get. We for begin teach beginning from when and small say we should not be a divided nation. Where you not Fula, you not Timini, you not Soso, you not Limba, you not Loko, you not Minde, you not Kono. Does not make you any different from any of them tribes than they, because you are all Sierra Leoneans. You should have the same value. We all the fly the Sierra Leone green, white, and blue. That should be the primary focus of civic education. It was called social studies back in the days. Then they teach you about all we past heroes them who don't get. The Kailondo, the Dawas, the Madame Yoko, the Kisimi Kamara, the Baibuya, the Shengepie. We learned about all these people when we were in primary and secondary schools. Through social studies. We learn about the cultural value they will get, the different tribes in Sierra Leone, their culture, their costume, their food, their attire. Not just one tribe, but all the tribes in Sierra Leone. By then we have 12 tribes. So that's the value of civic education. Now we not call civic education, but it was social studies then. So if you're not ready for go down that route today, for begin put the value of civic education in the young people, then we don't begin grow up, they will never get it. Total person know all you they can't teach and civic value. The one that they left Europe safe or come on Africa, kind of Europe for can't get naturalization. They don't know the civic value of the country when they naturalize to save. They don't have no clue. No clue. They only know the basic. Basic. You know how many staple food in England? Do they have one? What is it? You can only be English for like you know that day. Because the staple food in England for the English. Now what's in? Now fish and chips. Or you get roast. Lamb chop and tomato chopped. Oven baked. Lasagna. Well, lasagna is Italian. So most people don't know the cultural values of what England stands for. But they are British. But if you get the money, then teach them the values, but not the older ones that have naturalized. No. The beginning of everyone, they begin teach them the English value from in primary school, from in the nursery. Then they celebrate war in the War Veteran Day. Then they celebrate everything. Halloween, Guy Fawkes, everything they celebrate. They know about all those stuff. And they teach them from primary school. So then they grow up with the value of all those celebrations because they don't grow and when they're small. They know what it is. They know the values. That's the English culture. Any man we don't all know nothing about English culture today because you were not born here. You are not really loyal to the British flag. You're just taking the naturalization because you want to be British. That's all. That's how we then culture. You don't know the staple food. You don't know what the Queen stand for. Some don't even know how the Queen comes in. Because you have not been taught this when you were younger. Not until you don't old. If you see anybody they learn anybody in culture, it gets a reason. Because you want for benefit from that culture, they one way or the other. So it go all out for learn the culture because there are economical benefits towards it. And some of the economical benefits towards people taking nationalization for other country, now opportunities to work, opportunities to travel all over the world, you go make money from. Those are the benefits people do that for. And some take it for security purposes. So we have to be really mindful of how they teach civic education because Sierra Leone has turned 65 on Monday. What value do we have as Sierra Leoneans? What are the value they will install in we picking there? We salon people in this part of the world, especially in London, then the only friends picking and green, white, and blue clothes for independence, or when they get African Day or Cultural Day. That's the only time they realize that kids should have green, white, and blue flag. That's the only time they realize they begin forget salon clothes. They hear very Pan-Africana. Oh no, me begin to wear Africana. But when they get Cultural Day, na school, now you tell them to go find Africana for them picking there. Now you tell them to go find clothes the way them picking them for work for sure they are Sierra Leoneans. Now you tell them to go find flag for them picking them for proudly going to school and say, oh, now my salon picking it, it gets salon flag. It's too late. You haven't taught that child the value of what Sierra Leone stands for when that child was a year, 2, 3 old. You know, children nothing but salon way it was sabi and grow up with. You know, talk to and create yourself. Neither you tribe. Because you know I'm making English well. Hello. You know I make you go talk your language in school. Why not? What's wrong with that? So I beg, we have a lot to learn as Sierra Leoneans. If we talk about value of being a Sierra Leonean, you should be able to list at least few of those values and pass it on to your own kids and grandkids. Me begin to talk Creole, you can begin to eat Creole. Talk Creole, I talk to an Creole, whether I like it or not, I can't talk to her. If I say you can really pass, can I eat the kids if I kick you? I'll never kick him. But it's just the mentality of what we say every other day. You're not a patter, you don't curse. These are all words that you say all the time, but you don't really do them. But that's the culture of Sierra Leone. Now they see that salon picking and we don't go now, so they laugh about those things. Oh, what's not the most famous word your mother tell you now is? You know come on eye. You are not patter you. You decrease. And it's now fun. But these are the normal cultural words that we say to our kids, bringing them up in this part of the world. They're sabi all that day. But not just that. We should also teach them the other values. You're a Sierra Leonean. Can't make you see if Papa get green, white, and blue flag. Oh, Dad, why do you carry this flag? It rings a bell. So he grows up in that environment knowing the green, white, and blue is for Sierra Leone. A young Sierra Leonean boy came to me a couple of weeks ago for the same Africana Day. He designed his own t-shirts. A lion and a Sierra Leone map. And he put the Salon code as the hashtag. He called himself Salon Bobo. He's struggling to speak the Creole, but he don't be rooted with the Salon culture. So then they get for growth and say he die. He go decide now for go Salon, for go leave, for learn more of the culture and talk the language. So I beg, let's teach these kids better value of who's or what Sierra Leone should be. So if we want to talk about culture or Sierra Leone celebrating 65th independence, it is not an independence to be celebrated and making comparison to APC. So we all bastard. Now we know the papa and politics because we don't 75-year-old. Celebration in Sierra Leone has not been for Sierra Leone for the past 8 years. Now only SLPP nobody celebrating the presidents. They go na different song there. If not Tobo, na Bont, na Kenema, na Pujong, na Kailaon, na Stage Lodge, that been too money. And people in for dinner, they also for pray. Why is you are having fun with other people that you're inviting to come to the country? You're spending more money to invite people to come. And the people of Senegal celebrate. Economical value don't drop to zero. No more cultural performances, no more cultural masquerade, no more enjoyment. All Jinon die. Independence is the week of economical value in Sierra Leone. We should be able to maintain that. So at least people can go look forward to that 1 week. They say, oh, independent, the car will make money. But they don't anymore. Now, all the money they get, they go put on a BN workshop, seminars. Oh, what is seminar? They go benefit some people then. Independence Day. Hey, how many people are going to have the seminar? They make you open their mouths because they don't get food for go eat after the seminar. They will seminar don't like it 100,000 for press pass or press attendance. Then the panelists then they take home maybe a couple of $1,000 for just sitting down for maybe half an hour, not even saying nothing. Something they not safe. And then they put one paragraph together and call on quotation for the people they learn from. That's rubbish. Pure rubbish. Could have been better, but that doesn't make any sense. A seminar for independence, for civic education. You don't take it to the grassroots, you take it at the seminar workshop places, they win something, they build it at age 50. And almost of them will be elites or hand-picked civilians, they will possibly not get interest, but they're going over for the money. That's wrong. We could do better with them money than they. So the only good thing I see now the Leicester Peak viewpoint. That's all. That's the only good thing I saw. But guess what? Good investment, wrong timing. How much is it going to be accessible to Sierra Leoneans? For tourist attraction, yes, I know. But how much is it going to cost? $50 for claim up Leicester Peak, if go safe again for go up there. Sometimes we each $50 for go up and Gandong. Nah, let's put some value, premium value to some of the things they already do. That's alone, so that everybody will benefit, not just small people in the corner. Because it makes no sense. If we carry on like this, then Chief Minister David Francis Beyonce can say, we get 100 years for go if Salon carry on like carry this right now under this same administration we in we don't serve. So 65 years of independence in Sierra Leone should be 65 years of value, not 65 years of tormenting, not 65 years of not knowing what you want, not 65 years of not knowing what you're doing, not 65 years of crap, not 65 years of the same old jack who don't go through for the past 8 years. Not 65 years of trauma. Because Chileans have suffered a lot. So let's look at things that we will benefit we as a nation. Look at the positive things the way Salon will do and benefit from. Mono just she don't know more. Look at things the way if you say we for do today and for benefits we no more and just we. There is a lot we can do as a nation. Look, we reintroduce the economic value back of independence to the people of Sierra Leone and benefit something for that 1 week day. That will make a difference in their lives. It will help for pay some school fees. It will help some feed some houses them. Because the money will circulate. You know, we'll just stick to 1 or 2 people and no more. So I beg, please, let's do more. And the more we can do, the better it can be. Collective work, collective progress, collective nation. We cannot build alone. We have to build together. So if we say Salon don't go before, we haven't seen it yet. We need to do more. Now stadium this, so how many years till they know for finish? So they say they go finish in the next 2 years or next year. How long are we going to wait for stadium to be finished? A country they play international matches, they not get stadium. Come on. Hey, bro. At least they have been them the user. They will the utilizer. But now we haven't had one for well over 3 years now. We're still going. Nothing is happening. We need to see structure, we need to see development, we need to see nothing. Everything has gone to a hold. For what? Corrupt practices of the people who they manage the system. That's bad. When is it going to stop? So yes, there is nothing to celebrate until we have what we want, until we get Sierra Leone to what it should be. Then we should start thinking of what to do to celebrate independence. But let's reintroduce back the economic value of independence so that everybody will benefit. I just want to say thank you to my viewers. I might not be able to read all the comments right now because I don't overrun my time. tomorrow there's going to be a funeral in London. My nephew passed away a couple of weeks ago, and he's going to be buried tomorrow. So it's going to be a solemn period for many civilians within Southeast London. And I would say, may the soul of the young man rest in peace, as he's going to be laid to rest tomorrow. There's also another bereaved of a friend of ours that passed away yesterday, and I think that was a shocking death. Abdul Salam, his name is, and some of you may know him, and some of you may have bumped into him in various different locations back in the early or late 90s. So yeah, there are a few things happening within the community within the next couple of days, but we'll say may the souls of the departed rest in peace. And for those that have celebrated independence, good luck to you guys. There are two more events coming up this week. One will be DJ Razak and DJ K-Man. They're bringing in Shady Baby and a few more other artists. And then you have the other one also by Buba and his team. They're having a boat party, a stable boat party and a barbecue. It's all happening on Saturday, I think. Yes. They're going to be bringing a few DJs, international DJs from all over the world, from America. And what else is happening on Saturday? Yeah, so activities are still happening for independence. So it's not yet over. This will be the final week for that to over. And we'll go back to normality by next week. So nobody's going to be celebrating or making money from the independence celebration anymore. I don't know whether it has come to an end in Freetown, but this year's highlighted event in Freetown is SLPP celebrating their 75th anniversary of the party since it was formed. And then they boastfully say the SLPP Big Pass Salon, so now making they celebrate SLPP their 75th year anniversary than celebrating Sierra Leone's 65th. What a shame. For those of you joining us, thank you for staying with me for the past hour and a half or two. And don't forget, tomorrow we'll be live streaming the funeral, so it might be on Facebook, YouTube, or Zoom for those of you that have the Zoom link. And on Friday, we should be having another exclusive interview with the boss, but that should be confirmed by tomorrow. And of course, Saturday we stay put, I guess so, but we might do something. So if you're subscribed to one of our channels or platforms, you'll be able to have all the notifications when you come live. And from myself and the Sierra Leone media team, I'm not going to say happy independence that just passed away, because there is nothing happy about the independence anyway. So I would say have a good weekend, and hopefully next week, I think it's a bank holiday Monday. I'm not too sure, but I think so. It should be a May Day bank holiday Monday next week, I guess. So stay tuned, stay blessed, keep your focus high, and don't forget that the weather is changing. Make sure you have your right gears on. It's still warm and cold outside. So I would say have a good weekend, and Juma Mubarak next tomorrow. And if you say tomorrow on Thursday, tomorrow on Friday. It's I want the week quick. But anyway, Juma Mubarak is on Friday, so tomorrow is Thursday. So definitely we'll be here, hopefully on Friday. And there might be any emergency that will come live. We will definitely do so. So good night and have a blessed week. Bye for now.